Parkour. The best event photographers in the world are the photographers that know how to maximize their coverage. Maximizing your coverage means your client is getting exactly what they need, but also getting a plethora of it. But also, if you don't know how to maximize your coverage, you're potentially leaving yourself open to criticism and definitely not being hired again by your client. I've already made a video on how to maximize your coverage. It's pretty thorough. It's one of those very long guide videos I make. But today what I want to do is give some tips that will make sure you are bulletproof from getting any criticism in regards to your coverage. The first one is to constantly check in on your VIPs. Now, if you're at a private event, your VIP may be the birthday boy. Maybe it's a 40th birthday party. Check in on him, check in on his wife, check in on the family members, the close friends. Just kind of keep track in your mind. Have I photographed him? Have I checked in to see what he's up to lately? Because it may be a very large event with 400 people for all you know. I have photographed birthday parties at large. This is so important because if you don't overcover your VIPs, as much as you may feel it's important to get a little bit of everyone, and it is, if you don't overcover your VIPs, you may run into a situation in which their perception of reality doesn't actually match up with reality. You may get criticism that you didn't photograph the birthday woman enough. So you bulletproof yourself by making sure you overcover them. Next, let's talk about how to make sure you cover the event and then don't miss anyone important. I keep a running tally of everyone I've photographed. I personally can remember every single face I've photographed. Maybe you can't, and you will need to come up with a different system than I use to make sure I get everyone. But I'm kind of keeping that tally, and even if I can't get a great moment, so maybe in the beginning of the event, I'm just getting the most important moments because I'm getting a lot of great stuff to photograph. But as the event goes on, I start opening up a bit, referring to that tally, who have I photographed, who have I not, and I start really focusing on that, grabbing shots of the people that maybe aren't giving me so much energy. Now here's the thing, you can cull the images later, and so getting just an okay shot of someone is better than getting no shot of someone. And even if you don't end up delivering it, having that in your reserve, don't clear your rejected photos out yet, but having that photo in case they say, hey, I didn't get any of my uncle, do you have that shot? You will have it. But ideally what's going to happen is that you're going to replace your mediocre shots and you're going to just keep shooting different shots of different people, and then you're going to deliver the best ones only. As an event photographer, you want to capture as much action and emotion as possible, and that's a great thing, but you can overdo it. So for example, maybe there's a life of the party who's making everyone smile, but then you end up getting stuck in that area a little too much at the cost of getting coverage of everyone else. Or maybe you found a great area lighting-wise, and so you're getting so many great shots that you're not thinking to maybe get shots of like the corner of the room, that kind of thing, or like the basement section of the party. I don't know, maybe there's a basement section, I don't know, I'm not at the event. But anyway, it's really important that you kind of check in on different areas, even if there isn't that much happening in them. That way you will make sure you're, again, bulletproofing yourself from maybe missing someone who's maybe a little bit more introverted, or doesn't drink and isn't having as much fun for whatever reason, and that kind of thing. I know it's not fun to photograph those people as much as it is to photograph people having a great time, dancing, that kind of thing, but it's important as photographers that we are making sure we deliver that as well. At all events, you should be telling that emotional story and that visual story. That visual story is told through a variety of shot types, which I've detailed in another video. But the percentage you allocate to each shot type will depend on the type of event, and knowing what type of shot to focus on or shots to focus on will depend on your client's intended use. So for example, if you're photographing a birthday party, it's going to be less important that you get big establishing shots and more important that you're getting the emotional moments. However, if you're photographing a sponsored event, something with a lot of branded content, you might want to shoot more detail shots than you would at a birthday party. It all just depends, and you have to use your discretion, but having a conversation with your client can go a long way. Now, in the end of the day, if you're a great event photographer, you are going to maximize your coverage to the point that you're getting every shot they wanted and shots they didn't even imagine they wanted. Going back early in my career, when the expectation of people wasn't that photographers really got that many candids, I killed it with my candids, and that's what surprised people. They're like, I didn't even see event photography this way. I thought you'd be here, you'd roam, you'd grab group shots. And what I showed them was like, no, those group shots were important, but this is what you really want, that kind of thing. You know, it's just prudent to protect yourself from criticism, but operating out of a place of fear, like fear of criticism, isn't the best way to operate. I also recommend that you just take pride in your work, and when you know you've really covered an event, like you killed it, you feel good. And you just feel good about delivering that work, and that goes a long way. If you're interested in critiques, job reviews, business coaching, or some mentorship, please check out my Patreon page. I have a lot of different levels that will provide that to you. But if it's not in your means, or maybe you just want to show appreciation for the type of content I'm putting out there, there is a $1 menu. $1 menu. There is a $1. There is a there is a $1 level that just allows you to show me that you do appreciate what I do, and it means the world to me.